Hey everybody, what is going on? It is Dunbar Snack Bar here with MLB 14 The Show, and we've got some more of Nolan Ryan's road to the show coming your way right here. I am still without a loss, which is good, of course. Nobody wants to have losses, but 3-0 right now, which is a great start for Nolan Ryan's career. Hopefully that means I'll be moving to AAA pretty quickly. But yeah, so I did want to say thank you for everybody's concern this past weekend as I was tweeting stuff that was going on with the storm and the tornado and everything, and I posted a few videos, or a couple of videos about it on YouTube, but I think it was kind of cool too, because a lot of people are like, dude, you are insane. So I guess I should explain a little bit about what was really going on, and some other stuff too, so hopefully I don't sound too insane. Not like I really care that much, but I think if I put context into it, I think some of what I did will make a little bit more sense. But first, let me preface this by saying I am married and I've got a son right now and another baby on the way. So I'm not going to do anything to risk my life like that right now. So everything was just fine. So Nebraska, it's a little bit different. I know a lot of you do not live in Nebraska. In fact, a great majority of you do not. But culture here regarding tornadoes is a little bit different. Like, it's something that we live with on a regular basis. I mean, like, that is our natural disaster. And I mean, I kind of think, or kind of put it in the perspective of, I mean, if you live in California or something like that, and you think about earthquakes, yeah, you know what's going to happen. Is it going to worry you? Not really. I mean, you just kind of accept it and go about your daily life. That's like what it is with us with tornadoes, or like if hurricanes are bigger where, you know, you're at, if you're like along the East Coast or something. I mean, you know it's going to happen, but you know, it's not a big deal. And the thing with tornadoes, unlike some other natural disasters, it's a very, very focused event. So again, going back to like earthquakes, you know, that can affect entire cities, counties, states, and stuff like that. But with tornadoes, yeah, it's very, very focused into who it's going to affect. So, like, when our tornado sirens go off, it's not, hey, there's a tornado right above you. It's somewhere in your county, there is a tornado. And so, you know, the first thing I did, I was actually doing a video at the time. I was doing the Red Sox game for the rivalry game that I posted not too long ago. But, I mean, first thing I did is I took a look outside, and everything seemed fine. And then I went to the east side of my house. I'm like, okay, well, everything's good there. Went to the west side. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And I stepped outside, and I saw, like, miles away was where the storm was. So I'm like, okay, well, this isn't bad. So I stood outside for, you know, about 10 minutes just watching it, because there was, like, a lot of lightning and stuff. And, I mean, the reason why I did that is I wanted to see the direction that it was moving. And I had an idea because I looked at radar earlier in the day online and stuff, and I knew, you know, I'd be heading northeast, and that's the direction I was facing. So, sorry, I wasn't facing northeast. I was facing west while I was traveling northeast. And so I was like, okay, well, I mean, it's not bad. You know, there was no rain going on at the time. There was no real wind to speak of or anything like that. So I'm like, this will be kind of cool to check out. So I just sat there for a while, and then it was funny. Like, I never took pictures of them or anything, but I saw some people were getting up on their roof to take a look at it. I'm like, oh man, like, this has got to be crazy if people are getting up on their roofs and stuff to take a look at it. And I mean, there are houses down where people were out on their porch too, just taking a look at it. Because, I mean, we all knew that it was a ways off. And, you know, if it was to change direction, I mean, it was 2 steps away from going inside. And, you know, it could head downstairs and things would be just fine. So, but, you know, it was kind of cool. Because, like, for me, it's an adrenaline rush whenever I see that type of stuff. Just kind of knowing what it does. And one thing, too, is, and I think this is funny, is the common misconception people have about, like, tornadoes and, like, what they are. Because some people will be like, well, I've seen the movie Twister. And I'm like, okay, well, if you've seen the movie Twister, you're definitely not, like, an expert on what it's like being in a tornado. I mean, in my 29 years of existence, I have never actually been inside of a tornado myself. But I know if you go ahead and you take a leather belt and you strap yourself to a pipe, you're not going to survive it. In fact, there's actually a cool video on YouTube. I watched this. Well, it started off by I watched this documentary on Netflix about this guy who built what's called a tornado intercept vehicle, or a TIV. Because the whole thing was he wanted to drive inside of a tornado and see what it was like. And there's a YouTube video out there. I think it's like if you search TIV 3 or something like that, but it'll actually show you like what it's like inside a tornado. And it's nothing like the movie Twister or anything. But yeah, so I mean, I was just fine, and eventually things got kind of bad because there was like another part of the storm that was rolling in. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go inside now because I saw that was coming. But yeah, I mean, I got on the roof for a little bit, just took a look off in the distance, saw where the, tornado was. I didn't actually see it like on the ground or anything like that, but I could see, where it all was taking place. And sirens went on again because another one touched down, but I was already inside by that point. But it was really cool because if you guys didn't get to see it, I mean, I got to look above and see like the clouds spiraling and stuff like that, which, that'll definitely happen because it's a natural thing too for wind inside storms to rotate like horizontal, if that makes sense, like on a horizontal plane. Like that type of stuff is normal, but once it goes vertical, that's when you have the tornado and everything. So got to see some clouds spin around and saw some big cells and everything. It was just totally fine. So, I mean, a lot of people are like, stay safe, man, or you're crazy. Why are you doing this? Believe me, I was totally safe. I intended to stay safe right from the get-go. And, yeah. But, I mean, it was pretty cool. Like, nature's a little bit different for me because you got to remember, with me living in Nebraska, what Nebraska is, at least in my part of Nebraska, you can stand on a tin can and see the back of your head, basically. I mean, that's just how flat Nebraska is in my part. So I don't have any hills or mountains to climb. I've got a lake a few miles away, but I haven't done that much kayaking in that lake or anything like that. So, nature for me is kind of more of like, well, what's going on in that storm? So I get pretty excited about it. And there's a lot of Nebraskans who are the same way too. Like I said, I mean, once the sirens were going off, there was a lot of people who went outside. So, but I think like if you guys understood that, I think it would make a little bit more sense, like what I was doing and why I was going to be just fine going ahead and doing that. Like if there was like a tornado on the ground, like a half mile away, I would not be outside, be like, hey, you guys, just wanted to post a video. Yeah, no, not me. But I do appreciate everybody wishing me well. I mean, it was kind of crazy, too, because my wife, she wasn't home at the time. Otherwise, she wouldn't have let me go on the roof or really even stay outside for that long. Yeah, no, she was away. And while I talk about like Nebraskans and stuff, like we all go outside. I mean, there's a lot of us too who are absolutely terrified about storms, and my wife's not one of them. But I mean, she has some family members who are, and so she was spending some time with her family, and I was just like, "Oh, everybody okay over there?" And in between the big storm cells, I mean, she ended up driving home with her sister in another car, and I mean, they said it was pretty crazy, like. Semis had been tipped over and stuff like that, and all that was happening when I was indoors and stuff. Like, it got pretty crazy. It seemed like at one point I was looking outside, and it almost looked like it was a hurricane. Like, winds were like that bad, and the newspaper posted an article about some of the storm damage, and there's somebody's trampoline who was on their neighbor's roof. Like, it did get pretty crazy for a while, but I wasn't outside for that part. I was safely indoors and everything, but like I said, that's just part of living here. So we all accept it and things like that. You don't let it really bother you at all. It's just, okay, well, it'll happen and we'll move on. I think though that if I ever really was in a tornado and like it destroyed my house or something, I'd probably have a very different perspective on like tornadoes and storms than I do now. But to some degree, I think I still feel invincible a little bit. And that's kind of why I'm just fine with it. There was, it was somewhere between 04 and 06. I can't remember exactly which one of those 3 years it was. But there was a tornado that went through a town that was pretty close to Lincoln. And I was living in California at the time, so I heard about it from like my dad and everything. But I think it was like in a city called Hallam. But went through that entire town. And it's not a big town, but it blew some of the debris into Lincoln, and my parents were saying that they had like insulation from a house like in the front yard and stuff, like just all over the place. And I think seeing something like that would kind of change my perspective too, because it's like, oh my gosh, that is somebody's house that is now in my yard and is no longer where it was. So I don't know. Yeah, I think some of it is just me not having experienced the worst part of it, but I think another part of it's cultural, and another part's just being smart. Just not letting it get to you. Like, did you guys know this? So, Yellowstone is on a giant super volcano, and if that thing explodes, like, quarter of, or even more of the United States is going to be, like, uninhabitable, and there's going to be all this, like, ash and stuff in the air, and a lot of people are going to die. But the thing is, people still live in Wyoming and, around there. I think it even would affect Nebraska too. But anyway, so I mean, it's just that type of stuff. It's just like, it's going to happen. Don't let it bother you. So cool. But anyway, as far as this game is going, Nolan Ryan is pitching really well. The thing is, nobody has been able to get a run yet, and I'm only halfway happy about that, since I haven't allowed the opposing team to go ahead and get any runs. But I'm getting a number of strikeouts here too, which is good to be able to see, because that is the stuff that is going to help me get the most amount of training points necessary to really build up Nolan Ryan and to advance to the next level. So got to keep them coming. I've only given up a few hits here at this point as well, so this is definitely the best outing that I've had with Nolan Ryan so far, and fortunately he's going to be staying in here in the 8th inning. I think right now we've only given up 3 hits. I think our team has only gotten 3 hits as well. So it does concern me, because a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but a good portion of whether or not a pitcher's going to get a win or a loss really depends on how well the team is hitting with him. So I don't want this team to be the type of team that only gets like 3 hits a game. So, yeah, because that sometimes can get really, really frustrating. Like, you pitch a good game, you may give up just 1 run, but your team doesn't support you with getting any runs themselves. So you have like a phenomenal game minus like just that 1 run, but you miss out on so many points. And like all-star voting and stuff like that doesn't go your way because you just don't have the the training points there, or the wins for that matter. So that'll make, I want to say, strikeout number 11 now for Nolan Ryan. So, oh, that one will get caught. Okay, I thought that was going to end up being a base hit, but that's out number 2 for us here in the 8th inning. Now 0-2 count. Going to try and keep this one, of course, high and outside. And he'll pop that one up. That's going to be it here for the 8th inning for Nolan Ryan. So the question remains whether or not we're going to continue to see Nolan Ryan here for the 9th inning, or, 3 hits apiece. Or if we're going to be seeing somebody else. So a walk. Kind of like seeing how my team's going to end up. So, nope, I got pulled. So it's all up to Patrick Thompson. And on the bright side, I'm not going to get a loss or anything. Would have liked to get a win, but, oh, looks like extra innings now. Come on. Okay, so now we're in the 11th. Haha, Johnny Mock with a home run. I'm saying that as if he's a real person. Ooh, base hit. 2 straight pop-ups. Goes into right field, and boom, we end up winning this one, so not too bad. I guess even though they didn't get a run while I was pitching, we end up with the W at the end. So 11 Ks over 8 innings, and I allow 3 hits. Yeah, that definitely deserves a handshake and a big smile and a big thank you. All right, so anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. I sure do appreciate it. More of this to come later on, so make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, all that great jazz. But you guys are phenomenal people. You really are. Thanks for watching, and as always, you guys, I hope you have a good one.